I totally forgot to record that. So I just started recording right now. So if if you guys didn't catch that, then sorry about that, because it's totally not recorded because I didn't record it. So sorry about that. Wasn't recording it. Anyways, so like I said, you have any questions or concerns, you can put it in there. We can go in and I can give you this guy real quick. So this flow I edit every time before we have this class. I edit that guy. And then that guy is actually connected to this growth tool right here. That's him right there. And then I just copy this guy and I ask you guys if you could just please go in and you just click that guy to basically account for the fact that you've been in this session. And then if you would follow the instructions inside there, that would be great, because honestly, I'm keeping track of that. And I'm going to look and see if you guys actually do that for me, what I've asked you to do, and you provide some value yourself instead of me providing all the value. And then I got a great thing that's going to be in store for you guys that you're going to find out later on as this training unfolds. If you don't want to do that stuff and you don't want to provide any value, you just want to take it, that's fine too. You just take it. So if you have questions, put them in that box. I remember what we did last time whenever we kind of went through and we started touching on all the real basic things of ManyChat, right? So we touched on the real basic things that you really need to have for your bot and to get your bot set up. So to finish kind of that thing and talk about every little point in here, this point, this should be really, really clear to you. What this is your dashboard. You got some search filters over here where you can go back through certain days and you can see some demographics and some metrics of what's actually happened. I can see here over the last 7 days, as I've actually started doing out broadcast, I've got a negative net subscribers that have negatively. So, and I know what that's from because I've been doing an obnoxious amount of more broadcasts, but you can see, you can go in and query and get some more information here about your net subscribers or your subscribers and unsubscribers, or only your active subscribers. You can check different date ranges. This audience becomes really, really useful for you guys. This audience allows you to see all your actual subscribers, and then go in and look at them and run some. You can just search for somebody if you want, or you can run some conditional filters to get in and segment these guys down based on some data that you've collected from them, either by a way that they've something that you have them tagged on, a widget that they've actually opted in on. So wherever they've actually came in and however they've actually got into your bot, some sequences that they could be on, you could go in and look and see what sequences they actually could be on. And then you could go in and filter by some other conditions as well. You can filter by their gender, whether they're in the US or not. So I could look there and see how many of my subscribers, and that's great for me because that's my target audience right there, are those US guys, because that's what I am and that's who I relate to, and that's going to be the easiest person for me to initially establish trust with, because we're countrymen, man. We're countrymen and we can relate really easy. So that's good. I got a large amount of those English US guys. That's who I actually want. But I can go in and filter down by those guys and look and now see girls, guys, girls, those objects of things. I can go in and look at them and see how many of them in Facebook have this locale as US, as the United States, right? So then I could go in and run some other filters and see, based on some other conditions, I can look, like I said, how they opted in, what sequence they are, whether they're man, female. I can stack multiple of these guys on top of each other, look by their full name, first name, last name. Actually, these guys typically give you an error. So sometimes when you try to use these, they give you an error, especially when you broadcast. I can see when they subscribed on, when my last interaction, when the last time they saw. Like I said, I could look at any tag, I could target any tag, or I could target multiple tags and begin to actually understand somebody who's having relationship problems and they really like dogs and they also like Elvis, because some reason I've collected all the information about it, because I know that that is the unique formula sauce to getting somebody to buy my product. If I can just find somebody that's having relationship problems, they like dogs, and they listen to Elvis, I know for a fact they're going to buy my product, so I can go in and filter them out. And obviously to collect that information, somehow I need to do that through the flow in my bot, whether it's whether it's through conversational flow or whether it's just I go in and create ads or I create these growth tools. And then when people interact with those growth tools, I go in and start adding those tags or adding those custom fields to them so that I can segment them out later. So, and then you got your custom variables. So your custom fields are literally just like little buckets. If you imagine that custom field is just a little bucket, the way that I like to explain a custom field is just imagine that you have a person here, and then you have a bunch of traits here, right? You got trait 1, trait 2, trait 3, and everybody can have their own little value held inside this. So you can reference, hey, this person, what is this value here in trait 2? That could be their age. So they're just little custom storage piece of information. And you can go in based on whatever that actual trait is, whatever that custom field is, what the data type is, and begin to actually filter down by there. If I want to go in and look and see how many people have a bot budget that's lesser than $5,000, because those guys I consider to have a pretty low bot budget, but at least they do have a bot budget. I can see that these people right here all have a bot budget, but they have a bot budget lesser than $5,000. So if I want to run some type of promotion or something for people and target low budget people that I know that these guys do not have the budget to build a custom bot, I'm going to have to build on a platform like this. I could go in and target them based on their value. So I can target conditionally. This is a number. So since it's a number field, I can target greater than, less than, equal to, exactly, stuff like that, since it's a number field. Now, if this wasn't a number field, if this was some text field, if this was some actual text field, then I wouldn't be able to go in and target that actual text field like that. So I can still target a text field, but I can't target it with that type of value. I'm going to have to target it with is or isn't or contains or doesn't contain. I'm going to have to do basically a comparison and kind of look for a token pattern inside whatever that data is. So I can look for people who, for example, I can look for people who are Gmail users, because I know that if you have a Gmail address, you're more likely to buy my thing if you use Gmail, because one of my products is it allows you to easily connect your Gmail account and then share that email across multiple people where they're all using that email. And they're only able to literally mail people that you give them access to. So you don't give them access to your entire mail account. You just give them access to my software, and then you connect that shared mail account. And now you also assign them individual leads, and they can call or text them, and they can email those leads and see outgoing and incoming emails, but not have access to the rest of your inbox. And I know if you're a Gmail user, that could be valuable to you. So I want to go in and segment you out and look and see anybody, if you've given me your email address and you're a Gmail user, to segment you guys out, because now I can go in and broadcast and give you that piece of information and say, hey, I got an awesome software that could really help you with this particular pain point, just like our buddy told us a little bit ago. Matt told us we needed to be doing whenever we create our ads, right? We need to solve one problem, or provide one value that's really great to at least a set of demographics. But whenever we want an ad, we really want to zero in on a particular demographic and have a converting content that really relates to that demographic. So here I can do that. So you can see pretty much everything that happens here in your audience. Your live chat, we kind of touched on the live chat before. So this is basically where you can go in and have live conversations with people outside of this crazy mess over here. Because this crazy mess over here sometimes becomes hard to understand who you should be contacting and who you shouldn't be contacting, who actually needs your interaction versus who's just interacting with your bot. So this place allows us to go in and do that. Now, I guess we could slow down a little bit, because these growth tools, there are quite a lot of bit of growth tools here. So if we slow down, we are not going to cover all these things in this session. So lucky for you, it's recorded, at least since I hit the record button. And all you missed with not being recorded is remember, we did this. We made this little flow. So if you're not a subscriber to my bot and you go in and try to get some content from me, I can easily just copy and paste this guy by holding down the select key, selecting all that guy, hitting Control-C, and then I can just paste it inside there, and then easily, copy and paste that guy to another actual flow. And now I just totally messed this guy up. but that won't be hard to remove him. So that's all you missed in that part of the recording. So to talk about these growth tools are all really cool. So my strategy and my suggestion on these growth tools is, people ask me all the time, which one should I use? Use every single one of them. That's what you should use. You should use all of them. So they're all really cool, and they're really easy to use. Every one of them is easy to use, and they all have more or less the same general concept. They have an entry point. So there's all a CTA, a call to action, that is the entry point for the growth tool. So some of them have an initial state, and then they have a submitted state. What happens when you initially see that growth tool? Once you interact, what happens with that growth tool once you actually interact with it? Now, on a submitted state, your payload, which is this opt-in action, your payload has also been delivered. So you have an initial state, somebody sees your growth tool, right? Now they interact with your growth tool, you have a submitted state of your growth tool. So it's pretty clear. You see what's happening here. I can come over here. They even made it so awesome for us. Click to edit. So you just click to edit this with your data here, whatever you want this to be. I can't tell you what the content should be here. It should be whatever you think it should be, or you should ask a professional there. Are you having a question that you want to ask or something? If you raise your hand in there, it puts you to the top of the list, so I can easily go in and actually find you and unmute you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, I was wondering, is that possible we can customize that growth tools? Because I don't want that ManyChat logo in there. I don't want other people to know that I'm using ManyChat.
Yes, it's
No.
it's customized, because honestly, this thing right here is a pretty straightforward thing right here.
Right.
So it's possible only if we build a custom bot. If you want to use ManyChat, then nope, you're stuck with it. It's got to be there. Unless at sometime in the future they offer like an even higher level plan that completely allows us to remove their branding. But other than that, no.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So, like I said, they're all pretty similar for the most part. So most of them have an initial state that you see before you interact with them, a submitted state that you see after you interact with them, and then they have the payload that's actually been delivered to you. This payload, you can go in and edit this guy, or you can just replace this guy with one of your current flows that you have. Okay, so this one, for example, was that bar guy, and that bar guy is this guy right here. That's all that is. So this bar guy just goes at the top of your website, and then a user clicks that little button. They click this, and then bam, this submitted state changes. And then as you can see, they just got some message. They got your payload. Okay. So that guy's pretty straightforward. This guy, also pretty straightforward. He even shows you a little preview of what he done. He's just a little thing that will slide in, and you can go in and just play around with these guys and see what they do. You can go in and change the colors and customize them. You can go in and change information about them, how big the button is, what the background color is. You can go in and add, that awesome picture that all the marketers tell you that you need to have to get your users to relate with you or your brand or your product. That would probably hopefully coincide somehow with your message. You can change where this is actually going to go. So you can change where that's going to go. You can go in and change where this is going to slide in. And like I said, ManyChat's really cool, and they show us a preview of exactly what this is going to look like whenever we deploy it. So then you can set, do you want to show this widget again to the user after, never, only show it once, always, you want to wait some time. If a user manually closes this, how long should you wait to show them again? If they manually X this out, never show it to them again, or always show it to them again, or wait some hours or wait some days. So that stuff's all pretty straightforward there. And then you have the same thing. You also have your submitted state. You have your opt-in actions, which is where you actually deliver your payload. If you want, optimally, you can You can subscribe them to a sequence. This honestly is just not even necessary anymore. It's complete remnants of the fact that they didn't have the flow builder before, because now you can just easily inside your flow itself decide to add them to a sequence. And then that, if you start doing that, then it becomes easier for you to account. Like I said, if you standardize the way that you build things, and you know that if you know that way, hey, if I'm adding people to a sequence and I don't want to do that anymore because I see they're not responding very well to the sequence, you don't have to try to hunt and be like, okay, where are they getting added to it at? You know that, hey, that always happens in one of your flows. So you can go find your flow, and then you can just edit that flow to whatever action that you have added into the sequence. You can remove it. So it's got its payload, and it's got some simple setup. These guys all have some simple setup. Even that other guy that we just saw, he had some really simple setup. Hide on certain pages. If you don't want to show this on certain pages, you want to, because what they're going to do, they're going to give you a code that you're going to place in your header, just like a tracking pixel, or just like all the other codes for every other little third-party widget. They're going to give you some code that you're going to put globally in your header, and then they're going to allow you through the script to basically either white label pages or blacklist pages, or just show it on everything. So you want to blacklist pages and say, don't show only on these pages. Want to whitelist pages and say, only show on these pages. So you want to turn it on for mobile devices, desktop only, mobile only. You can do that. And then you just go in and you follow this little thing. You need to first authorize your website here. Any website that you want this script to be able to show on. Like, for example, if I have a site built on ClickFunnels, which I do, because ClickFunnels allows you to easily go in and deploy sites really, really, really fast, especially if you want to just prototype for a potential client what this could be like, or a generic flow, or layout that you're going to propose to somebody. Instead of giving a generic proposal to explain it, you can just create a ClickFunnels page in 2 hours, and that be a huge value to them and get them to instantly sign the deal. So sometimes it's just worth spending that time and doing it. So let's say I got a ClickFunnels page, and that I've got some domain routed to that ClickFunnels page, but whenever I save something in ClickFunnels, I got to wait some time before it actually updates to my actual domain. So I want to preview it. And whenever I preview it, I want to see my growth tool as well in the preview. So I'm going to go in and authorize ClickFunnels. I'm going to go in and authorize my domain. ManyChat's always authorized. Don't really know why, because the growth tools never show up on their own website, but they always authorize themselves, I guess, just because they like to throw their domain out there and be like, we're cool. And they are awesome. ManyChat is a really, really awesome software. I really love it. So you just put in your website here, add your website, and then go next. And then you're just going to grab this code here. And for example, if we were doing it in ClickFunnels, what we would do is we would just go in here to our settings, and then inside our settings for our particular funnel, we would just do just like I've done here. We would just put a head tracking code. We would just put that inside our head tracking code, and then we'd save that. Okay. So that's all we need to do for these particular guys. Now, for some guys, we got to do some other stuff as well. So for these tools, and you just follow the instructions and it will tell you exactly what you do. Some of them, all you have to do is install this code in your header, or you don't have to install it on your global header. You can actually install these guys. You can install these guys in the body tag. So there's a little bit of an issue that happens, not an issue, but there's a different little behavior that happens if you install it in the body tag. And it's just when the thing actually loads up, and when it's actually responsive. But you can do that, and you can go to an individual page if you want and just install it on that page and not install it globally. That's completely up to you, but just follow their little instructions and you should understand all that. This guy's about the same. He's just a pop-up model. So this guy's just a pop-up model. So far, all these guys that we looked at, instant subscriber, page takeover, instant subscriber. This guy just completely blacks out your entire web page, and your web page disappears and it's hidden behind this guy. And once they interact with this guy, then they get your submitted state, and they need to actually close this guy to get back to your actual website. So that's just a page takeover. Same deal. You can see that you got initial state, submitted state. You got your opt-in actions where you actually deliver your payload. You got some setup. Same setup was here as everything else, and you just put that guy there. So same exact setup. All right. Then you've got, we went through those four. Then you got a button. Button's really straightforward as well. It's just a button like this that you can put somewhere, call to action. So this guy does have an initial state. He does have a submitted state where just the button changes. He also has, so And then here you can also go in on this button, besides changing its little values here, you can go in and redirect somebody to a different URL after submission. If you want to redirect somebody to a different URL, got his opt-in actions, his payload. Setup is relatively the same. You need to go in and install this in your header. And then as a one little additional step, you need to put in this div, and then the JavaScript, wherever this div is at, will render that button there. So you need to go in and actually put in this div wherever you want to do that. So if you were to do that in something like ClickFunnels, that would be really straightforward as well. If you were to do something in ClickFunnels, you would just come in here and you would go to your little page, and then, or if you're in WordPress or any other tool, it's going to be really similar. You're going to find a JavaScript or HTML element, and then you're just going to pop that code inside there. So that code would be this code, and this HTML element would be wherever you want the button to show up. You want the button to show up there, drop this little custom guy in there, custom JavaScript HTML, inside him, paste this guy right here. Your button will show up as long as you have this script installed in your header. Then you have this box. This box is about the same as well. So very straightforward. He is a static guy, where these other guys are kind of not static. So this is a model this is a slide in that's going to have some action and come from some direction or something. This guy was a model that is just going to pop up after some time. He's just going to pop up and be like, hey, I'm a thing, click me, deliver message, etc. This is a page takeover after the same thing. This is like a model on steroids. So this is like a pop-up on steroids that after some time, this thing is just going to take over your entire page and say, can't do anything else until you acknowledge me and either click this button or click the X up there. So these guys are a little dynamic. These things are static as far as you just put them somewhere and they're just always there. There's no actual animation or no time delay or trigger to when they come. They're just always there, but they do the exact same thing. They've got an initial state, a submitted state. They got a payload, your flow that you're going to drop somebody off to, and they got your setup. This guy also has a little additional snippet. So since these two guys are static things that are just always going to be there, these guys have a second step. Since these guys are not static things, and these guys, after just a delay of time or a percentage that you've scrolled down, or the fact that you've interacted with you've reached a specific CSS tag in one of your elements, that will actually trigger this thing right here. So he doesn't need the second step. He only needs the script. Then you have this landing page. I will just tell you right now, this landing page is useless. You should never use it. As much as I love ManyChat, this is a useless feature. You should never use it. If you want to use it, fine, use it. If you want to use it and you want to use it the proper way, don't use it. Instead of using it, use this page takeover, because it's the same thing essentially. What's the difference between this page takeover and this landing page? Well, the difference is this landing page is going to be at a ManyChat URL, and there is nothing there whatsoever other than this content right here. That's it. Now, with a page takeover, that's going to be installed on your page. It's going to have the same effect as this landing page, exact same effect. It's going to take over your entire page. The only difference is this guy doesn't have an X whatsoever. There's no way to X out of him. You either click this or you don't click it. You go away from the page. He's on a ManyChat URL. If you use this page takeover, you have essentially the same effect, and set for the user gets a little X over here, where now they can go back to your content on your domain. They can get more information, and you can give them more information. If you have got a user and you have routed them to a website through whatever process that you've used, most likely you probably used some advertisement and you got them there. So if you got them there, if they don't want to do this and they're like, no, screw this, I'm not interested in this. If you use your own page and your own landing page, then you give them that second option to go in and actually get more content and more information before they decide to opt in. So definitely, like I said, I would just recommend you forget that landing page exists. And if you want to use that guy, don't use that guy. Use the page takeover instead, and have your own landing page, so that if they don't want to interact with this little bit of content on this page takeover or landing page, they could exit out and they could see a more elaborate scheme of your content, so that now they have like a second chance to say, yeah, okay, now I'm interested. Now I'll opt in. You can still have a secondary button when they click this, another call to action to drive them into your messenger. So now you see that some of our little guys, but this guy is the same way. He's got an initial state, submitted state, opt-in actions. The only thing is he doesn't have any real setup whatsoever. The only setup that you're going to get is they're going to give you a URL. That's it. They're just going to say, hey, here's your URL. Send people to this URL. So now you can see the other growth tools disappeared, and that's because these are all kind of the same type of growth tools. So since these are all kind of the same type of growth tools, you can easily interchange between these guys. So the other ones have disappeared. So let's go back and find those other ones. Now here are the other ones, these 5 right here. So we'll talk about those. First, we'll talk about this messenger reference URL. This guy's really straightforward. He's the same guy that I've been using to get you guys to attend this meeting. All right. So he's the same little button that the little URL that I've got dropped in there, where what this does is literally just allow you with a URL to inject somebody in whatever flow that you want, whatever content flow, whether you want to create a new one or you already have one that you really like and you want to now drive people to that particular flow because you got some keyword that's triggering it, and you're like, hey, people are triggering that keyword, they're getting into that flow, they're getting really responsive, and I'm getting sales from that. So now I just want to drive people directly in there in case they don't know how to type in that keyword because they're not questioning that keyword. Well, you can go in and you can create a ref URL. You can use this growth tool. You can go in and replace this guy with your custom content that you want to drive them to. You know, I want to drive you guys to see how you can do math in a bot. So I'll create this ref URL. I'll replace this opt-in message with my math message. And then I'll literally just set this up. You see how easy that was? I just pick my message, go to setup, got a URL, drop it in there. Now you guys can go in and now you can go in and drop them in there. So, and it doesn't, I don't think the Facebook chat tool overrides anything, because I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure, and they just introduced that, and we'll talk about that Facebook chat tool in just a second, but I'm pretty sure that I've got a Facebook chat tool on my page right there, and I'm almost certain if you come in here and sign in that there's still a Facebook chat tool here, and there's still my other call to action right there. So there's both of them on the same page. Here's another one. There's 3 of them on the same page. So there's three growth tools right here on this page. You can click this, get in my bot, click this, get in my bot, click this, get in my bot, instant subscriber. So you can see I just clicked that, instant subscriber. Now I'm inside the bot getting some message from the bot because you just click on my customer. This is my live chat. Now I can do customer support right on my website. We'll talk about this in a second. By far the best growth tool that there is. So like if you guys are using Drift or something like that or other tools, this literally allows you to now do a customer chat that is great. I mean, you can still have 5 admins, and whenever you don't realize what you need to do with somebody, you can notify all 5 admins so that somebody can come in and start chatting with this person live on your website. But if he's asking some question that you've already answered 47 times to the last people that asked that question, well then if you're smart, you can go in and create that as, you know, some combination of keywords so that the next time somebody answers that question or ask that question, you could be sipping whiskey or mojitos, or maybe you could be focusing on sales, whatever you like to do in your spare time, getting new clients. Meanwhile, your bot can be doing what traditionally you have to physically do yourself. So that allows it to be embedded right on the website. So that's really cool. But like I said, we'll talk about that just in a second. I just wanted to tell you that you can have multiple on one page. It doesn't matter. You can have as many as you want on one page. So this ref URL, you got the point of it. I want to take you into a particular flow. I just make that ref tool. I give it to you. Now you guys click that tool right there. And now guess what? You're right in my bot, and my bot is asking you, hey, would you like to do some math? Right? Because that's where I wanted to put you at. I wanted to put you doing math. I wanted to build a flow and then say, hey, get injected right here. All right. So now you're doing math in my bot. Okay. Because I put you there through that ref tool. So that one's pretty cool. Facebook comments, also really, really cool. Facebook comments, obviously, this is something people struggle with a lot of times. I really don't understand why you struggle with this. So Matt kind of went through and talked about this. This is really, really straightforward. You're going to select a post. So you can select one of these posts that are currently posted on your page. These are posts that you guys are posting, just posting random pictures to my page through my bot. So you can come in here, and if you've got the post ID, like for example, I think we got some post ID like this guy right here. There's a post ID that we got, and I can put that in there. And then that's not going to work though, because I'm using, so a good thing to keep in mind, and I have seen people do this all the time, even I'm dumb enough to have done it a couple times, that if you're using a post from a page that is not this page right here, it's not going to work. So you're going to have to actually use a post from your actual page that your bot is connected to. All right. So any of these posts, you can go in, whatever post that you want, you just select that. So you select your post. Do you want to track? Well, you need to do this at first. You need to confirm that the selected post is explicit, that this page is going to contact users who comment via Messenger. So in the post itself, you need to say something like, hey, comment below and I'll send you a message. Simple enough like that. Comment below, I'll send you a message with more information. Comment this below, I'll send you a message with more information. As long as you have some phrase that mentions to the extent that a user can understand, if I comment, I will get message, then TOS is satisfied. So this is not customer chat. So no, this is Facebook comments, really straightforward. This is Facebook comments. So you need to confirm this. And most importantly, you need to make sure that the post itself is explicit. And whenever you check this, that you're not just BSing, that if someone were to actually check, if Facebook were to actually check, they would see that you have explicitly said in the post that you're going to message people who comment on the post. All right. So this just basically track first level comments only. A first level comment only is you guys right here are first level comments. If I go in here and say, yes, I learned a lot here, which I did actually learn a lot from Matt. So I'm really glad he took some time to come in because I struggle so much with Facebook ads. So if I come in here, this is not a first level comment. This is a second level comment because this is a reply to somebody else's comment. So if I want to send both this guy and this second level guy right here, if I want to send those guys both a message, then I need to make sure this is off. Okay. If this is on, and thank you so much for annotating for me. It makes it so easy. If this is on, then I will only send it to these first level comments. I will not send it to this person right here because he's a second level comment. So, so this just basically says, hey, when do you want to do this? All right. How soon do you want to send out this interaction? You want to know what I say? Send it out immediately. Always send it out immediately. Why? Because you want to know something cool you can do. You could go right inside your flow. All right, you could go right to this flow right here, and you can go right here, and you can, get rid of that condition because we don't want a condition. You can go right here to this split test, all right? You can start with this split test, and you can go in and copy this guy, and then you can come here, and you can take 50% and send him to that guy, and 50% and send him to that guy, and this one you can send out immediately, and then this one you can go in and say, hey, I want to delay this for 60 seconds. All right, that's the maximum delay that you can have. If you want more than a 60-second delay, then you need to go in and stack these guys on each other. So now I can delay this for 2 minutes. So now I can split test and see, am I getting better response if I send something out immediately, or am I getting better response if I wait for 2 minutes and then send out a message? So now you can go in and test those guys. And if you want to try even more variations, then you can just come to this guy. You can add a new variation. You can copy this guy. Let's copy that guy right there. because he's already got some wait time, and we can go in and do that. And then let's just, because we're anal, let's move this down here because I don't like to see lines cross each other because it's no good. So now I can split test and see what it's like to wait 1 minute, wait 2 minutes, and have no wait at all. And then I can do that for a day on that comment. That post itself, and that's the cool thing if you paid attention to what Matt did, that post itself, you could use that, I mean, over and over and over again in your ads, right? So you're getting a huge amount of engagement, a bunch of people commenting. So over time, you can easily go in, if you have a split test like this, you can see what has higher conversion ratios, what are people converting on more, and then you can just go with that. All right. So that's one of the reasons that I recommend that you just always do immediately, because if you always do immediately and you want to change that and you want to have more power and more control over that, well, guess what? You can just build it right inside the flow. No big deal there. You want to wait 2 minutes, you can wait 2 minutes right inside the flow. No big deal. If you do it immediately, like I said, you can go in and split test even the delay times that you have and how fast you comment to somebody. What you wouldn't be able to do, is wait for days or hours like this. So if you want to wait for hours, then you're not going to be able to do that. You would be able to, and honestly, I don't know, you might be able to do that, but if you were going to do that, then you would literally, I haven't tried it, but you might be able to go in and take this guy and make, you might be able to go in and make 60 of these guys and copy 60 of these guys and then put your message afterwards. I know you can only have 10 messages. I don't know if you can have how many delays you can have. So we could try that, but I would assume that you could only wait up to 9 minutes according to the other constraints that I saw on the platform. So if you want to wait days and hours, then you can't do that. But I don't really know why you'd really want to wait days and hours. Maybe you do though. Maybe there's a good reason. But here you can't even do that. Here you can only you can only do seconds and minutes. You can't even wait days and hours here. So might as well do it immediately. And then if you want to do a delay, you can do it right inside the flow. So there you do that. Here, pretty straightforward. Exclude comments with these keywords. Somebody puts in a dirty word because we hate people that have profanity, because just people with profanity are just nasty, ugly people, and we don't like those people. So if they comment on our post, then we don't want to send any message to them. So hopefully that's not arrows pointing at my face or something there. So sorry about that. I'm not quite sure what happened there. So you got the point there. Exclude people with comments. Exclude those keywords. Only trigger for these particular keywords if you want to only trigger if people type in info. You could just have a video. Like Matt said, video ads are really, really great. So you just have a video ad and you just be like, hey, comment info down there. Just put in info down there. I'll send you more info. And then if they comment info, you can trigger on that keyword only. So that's pretty straightforward there. Then you go to your auto response. So the only thing that you need to remember here is whenever somebody comments on your post, they're going to be delivered this message. As you can see, this is not a flow. This is just a message. This is just a text message, okay? That's all you can do. No call to action here, nothing, just a message. So if somebody comments on your post that this growth tool is attached to, they'll be delivered this message. If they reply back anything, they're a subscriber. If they reply back, I hate you, you're stupid. Thanks for subscribing. You've just subscribed. Congratulations. So it doesn't matter what they reply back. If they reply back, now they're a subscriber. And you can decide whether you want to do with that. You can decide, hey, just have them subscribe. Don't do anything else. You can say, hey, I want to send everybody who becomes a subscriber, I want to send them my payload. I want to send them my flow, my sequence of messages. Or you can say, hey, only those users that actually reply with a keyword. So I can segment on a keyword on the comment, and I can say, hey, only people who comment info on this post are going to actually get my auto response. And then in my auto response, I can say, hey, did you want more info? Comment more info. And I can make sure that this person really wants more info because they commented info and then they replied more info. And only if they reply with more info, put more info in here, then will I actually drop them off this message right here. And I can just either edit the predefined message that they gave me, which is going to be this growth tool number 71, or I can just replace this with something that I've already built, which hopefully, if it's me, I already have this built, because before I go in and actually create all these things, I'm going to first think about my flows and the different scenarios that I have and the different contents I want to build out. And then I'm going to build that out. And then after those are built out and all ready to do, I can rapidly launch these growth tools really, really easy. So, so that's pretty much that. And then I can go in and just, subscribe them to a sequence. And that's literally how the growth tool works. That's pretty straightforward. You do need to make sure that you're aware, and a lot of people aren't aware, is if you can just point to this thing right here. This, you got to make sure, for example, this is not active. So this will never work. This will not work until you click that thing right there. Even right now, it probably won't work. Well, I guess it will work, because I guess I did actually fill everything out and I clicked that button. So even now it won't work, though. Like I said, it won't work because I'm attaching this to a post from John Vaughn page, and my bot's on demo bot page. And although it would be cool if I could just go to Barack Obama's page and just put his post in there and say, everybody that comments on this is going to get replied to by my bot, it's just not going to work like that. So this isn't going to work. So as long as, if you want to change that post, make sure that's turned off. As long as you go in and actually make sure the post actually belongs to your bot, then everything's going to be great. So that's pretty much that growth tool. I got 4 minutes. I think I got 4 minutes, and I don't know if I can go over everything in 4 minutes, all those other things. So you can see I can talk really fast. So I might be able to go over the rest of those things in 4 minutes, because there's not a lot of things. So the other thing is that we have is customer chat, Facebook Messenger code, Facebook JSON ads. So probably can't go over that in 4 minutes, but customer chat's really, really straightforward. So customer chat is this chat widget that you see on this thing right here. So if you want to go in and actually have a chat widget on your website where users can go in and, interact with your bot or interact with you directly on your website like they would in a live chat, then they can go in, and you can see this guy's on my website, and he's on my website doing math inside my bot. So literally now on my website, he can go in my website and do something like interact with me and say, hey, photo or whatever, and that can now trigger some keyword and say, hey, do you want to make me Sparter? Because he's now in a default reply for me. All right, so pretty straightforward here. The only thing that you need to know here is, just like this in your customer chat, this guy, you can only have one version of your customer chat, which means you can put this anywhere that you want on any of the pages that you want, but you can't have multiple versions of these like you can a ref tool. All right. But the same thing here, you have a payload, you have a particular sequence that you want to drop somebody into. All right. So I've got a particular sequence, not on this guy, but in another growth tool somewhere down here. I've actually got that customer chat that looks like that somewhere in here out of all the growth tools that I go in and create to try to show you guys how to actually use them. It looks like this one right here, where I go in and I drop them off. Look, the piece of content, website chat widget. I went and created a piece of content called website chat widget. And then now in this website chat widget, because that's what this is, it's a website chat growth tool, I just link in that piece of content. Now you just go in, get this little guy. This is the exact same script that you got before. So if you already have this script installed for this tool, or this script installed for this tool, you don't need to install any other script, because it's all the same script. If you look inside ManyChat, it's all the same script. So if you install the script for one tool, then your other growth tools are just going to work, unless you have that little secondary thing that you need to do, which is go in and add that div, which is only on the button and only on the box. There's a button and a box, only those two things you got to add the additional thing to. So but you got the gist. That's pretty straightforward. You're going to put this website chat widget on. Somebody can click it. Whenever they click it, they're going to be put into that flow, but then they're also going to be in a chat widget here where they can interact with your bot. They can have a live chat with you, and it's going to be going on the website, and then it's also going to be going through Facebook as well, where I'm getting notifications on Facebook for doing this. See? I'm getting some information on Facebook. I'm getting some information on the website. Really powerful, really, really cool. So that's pretty straightforward. I think that you should be understanding that. We're going to have another session. It's going to be at 8 p.m. From 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So on that session, we'll go over all the other growth tools that are left over, not so many left over, just like 2 more left over. That Facebook Jason one is a little bit more complex. So it's going to take us, at least 10 minutes to go through that and kind of talk about that, because we need to go into the ads manager and show you where to actually do that. And then the only other one that we have is also, it's a really simple one, but it's a really, really cool one, and not enough people use it, and you should be using it because you should be using all of these. And it's this QR code, or it's a messenger code, which is really like a QR code. And it's really, really cool too, because that's your print media that you can just now go and print that thing and put it all over the world, and people can, scan it with their phone, which is pretty cool. So that's it right now. I'm going to take all these questions and I'm going to dump them into a file, which is already done. And then I'll just go over them in the next chat. Okay. See you guys.